Hi, I'm TLC from Quantum Balance Crystals, and I'm the heart of QBC. And welcome to the deep dive into yellow. Yellow is our solar plexus chakra. It's located in the abdomen, and it's the I-Kin energy center. In this video, we are going to go over the meaning and the purpose of the yellow energy, and we're going to give you tips and exercises, and we're going to create a vision with you of how to keep your solar plexus open. When I first started working on my solar plexus chakra, I needed it to be really simple. So my first step is digestion. And digestion is processing information. And it's not just about the food you eat as what we know as digestion. It's the information we receive has to be digested too. Because if you ever feel overwhelmed, it's because you have received so much information and you're not able to process it all. So one of my best things I learned from this step was to sit, be still. I did this a lot through meditation. I was still, and then that allowed all my thoughts, whatever was going on with me, to be processed. And that's one way you can really feel the core of who you are, is to be still and let this information be processed through you. Step 2 is courage. And that is where you're going to start looking at your fears, your anxieties, and your worries, and you're going to start realizing what you can bust through. And one of the affirmations of yellow solar plexus is, I can do it. And this is where you're going to become in your power, and you're going to, it takes some time, but once you start working in this energy, you start seeing more clearly of some fears that are not serving you, and it's making you very small and insecure. One of the big fears is the fear of failure. That's like a huge one for people. And it is so buried inside of us that we start sabotaging ourselves and acting out of it. And we don't really know that that's where all of our experiences are being filtered from. So it's really important to get into the core of who we are and really see what beliefs we're believing and feeling inside and capture those. And we can shift those and turn them around. Throughout your day, if you ever find yourself indecisive or very confused or trying to make a decision, but finding that you're very afraid that you might make the wrong decision, then that is probably your solar plexus chakra needs to be worked on. This could affect not only your personal life and your relationships, but also in your professional life. So it's really important to look at where you're coming from and really look to see if fear is part of that equation. Because when you take the fear out and you allow yourself to digest and process information, you're going to have clarity, and you're going to be able to come from your power center, and you're going to feel it, and everyone around you is going to feel it. And it's really a place where you're going to come from love, because there's only love and there's only fear. So we want to respond in love. And so that's the other thing about this, is that see where you're reacting. Reacting is the first signal of you coming from fear. Or if you feel defensive about anything or your decision you're making, if you feel any defense, that might be fear too. So these are some of the things you need to look at when you're working in your solar plexus chakra. When it comes to tackling your doubts and your fear of failure, don't be afraid of making a mistake, because we all make mistakes. And what we can do now when we make a mistake is we can actually really learn from it. We can dive in, dig deep, and find out what were the pieces in the process of making that decision, and really find out what that mistake is really about. And then we can learn from it, and we can create a new reality from that. Okay, many years ago, I was at a workshop, and I stood on stage, and I had to say my name and say my possibility. And so I said, hi, I'm Tammy, and I'm courageous. And when I said courageous, I had this fear that came up in me, and I just wanted to run off the stage. It terrified me to speak in front of people. I thought everybody was looking at me. I was scared of what people were thinking of me. There's so much fear came up for me. And so now today, since I've been working on my solar plexus chakra and processing through all the fears and all the doubts I have about myself, I can actually stand in front of a camera. I'm busted through my public speaking fear. It's all because I'm working in my energy and in my energy centers. And I make it a habit to learn. And I'm learning from all my situations or mistakes and realizing it's all an opportunity. So being able to be in front of people, it's like there's no fear anymore of what they think of me. So standing in front of people, public speaking, is probably one of the biggest fears people have. And when you practice and open up your solar plexus chakra and you come from your power center, then you are responding and you're seeing that the world loves you and there's nothing to be afraid of. All right, and the third step of opening up your solar plexus chakra is personal power. And this is where you stand in your power and you come from love, because it's love or fear, and we're going to choose love, and that's what you realize in your solar plexus chakra is to choose love. When I was really working in my yellow and my solar plexus chakra was that I wanted to stay in my power. I did not want to give my power away anymore. So every time I reacted, I knew I gave my power away. And one thing I learned really is about, okay, let's say emails. We all get emails, and sometimes you might get an email from somebody, and it might just make you really angry, and like you just want to like email them back and give it to them. But you know what? If you take a moment, you let everything process through you, you'll see the situation differently, and you'll realize it's all love, and you'll write back the most calmest, assertive email. And you can say everything you want without the emotion of fear in it or anger or frustration, and you start writing it very assertively. And you know what? The person receiving that email will receive it beautifully, and they will get what you're trying to say, and you'll just save yourself a lot of disharmony. The fourth and final step is self-mastery, and that's pretty well the combination of all of it, of all of our 4 steps. And also working on your solar plexus chakra, you're going to find that an energy is going to wake up inside of you, and you're going to feel unstoppable. You're going to feel like you're a leader of yourself. And that's all about self-mastery, is when you become a great leader of yourself. You come from love and you respond to all situations. And that's when you bring it all together. You're processing all your information. You're standing in your own power. You're coming from love. You're responding to the situations. And you become masterful at this. This is like your daily practice now, to bust through your fears, have courage, live your life fearlessly, and be unstoppable. And this is when you become a leader of yourself. When you really look at your goals, if you have weight loss goals, exercise goals, professional goals, any goals that you may have that you really desire, this is when you're going to become a leader of yourself and you're going to accomplish them. After you work on self-mastery, you will achieve the discipline that you need. And so say you want to go exercise, you will just exercise without any doubts in your mind that you shouldn't be doing that. Weight loss is the same way, is you'll be guided to better choices and you won't have any doubts about if you can do it or not. You can discipline yourself and not give your power away to food. And so this is another great practice in your life, to see where you're giving your power away to. A lot of people will give their power away to food, to pain, even to like, I can't exercise, and they'll have all the doubts and reasons why they can't do that. Well, that's what we're talking about, self-mastery. You will have the discipline to be able to stay in your power and not get sidetracked or distracted. Practicing self-mastery is when we just are right on point, we're right on the target, and we let nothing distract us, disturb us, or influence us. So yellow is very special to me. And when I was working on my solar plexus chakra, I had discovered a lot of fear inside of me that I didn't even know I had. And I remember so clearly when I rode a roller coaster, and it just terrorized me. And I was like, okay, can I ride the roller coaster until I can ride it with joy and love and really feel my core inside of my body? And so I would jump on roller coasters and ride them and ride them and ride them. And I would feel so free. And all of a sudden, I just felt joy emerging from me. So I use roller coasters as my biggest teacher in transforming my fear. Another story I have about the yellow pendant is I have 3 boys, and I started teaching them what the colors are for. And then I noticed one of my sons, he was overweight and he really wanted to lose the weight. And on his own, since he learned what the colors were for, he started wearing the yellow pendant. And all of a sudden, I noticed him going to the gym, exercising, taking care of himself more, being more disciplined. He started going to Whole Foods and buying different foods, asking me, well, what do you eat in your diet? Because I had already changed my diet. And through the process of 2 years, he lost 110 pounds. And his energy totally shifted. So now it's a lifestyle for him to keep the weight off and to do the work. And yellow is very special to him. Throughout my transformation, I came up with very simple affirmations. The affirmations are really good to repeat them over and over again several times a day. And number 1 is, I digest and process information with ease. Number 2 is, I can do it. Number 3 is, I stand in my power. And number 4 is, I am a leader of self. In conclusion, I want to thank you all for being here and thank you for listening. And just remember, when you're opening up your solar plexus chakra, it's all about discipline, processing through all the information, being courageous, and practicing self-mastery.